Hello, hello, beautiful people. Hello, hello, beautiful people. How are you? It's Bex Burton. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here and jumping into the room on time. Oh, it's just so wonderful to spend an evening with some of my favorite people on the planet. And I'm just so glad that you've chosen to spend this evening with me. Thank you. While we wait for our people to fill up the room and jump on the line, I'd like to open the chat room for a virtual cocktail party. You don't have to have a cocktail. You can just have your water. But yeah, I'd love for you to jump into the chat and let me know where you're coming in from, where you're tuning in from, and what you're hoping most to get from our time together tonight. So you should find your chat somewhere in this window. And yeah, once again, if you're just joining us, we're having a virtual cocktail hour, just welcoming you into the event here. And I'd love to hear from some of you where you're dialing in from and what you're hoping most to get out of our time together tonight. So I'll be on the lookout for those in the chat. And also, while we're waiting for the room to fill up, I have a couple of housekeeping notes that I want to just cover with you. If you guys are having any difficulty, any tech difficulty with your browser, with your sound, the video, make sure that all of your other browser windows, browser tabs are closed. So if you got your email open, your Facebook open, your OkCupid open, go ahead and close all those tabs. And if you've got any other apps running on your computer or your phone, shut all those down. So Photoshop, close it down. iTunes, close it down. That'll just give your computer the most running power for the evening. Let's see. I would also love for you to have at the ready a pen and a notebook, and go ahead and have a glass of water because we're going to be spending some quality time together this evening. And one last thing, I will be using a little bit of profanity, just some strong language to get my point across. Don't worry, the hour won't be full of profanity, but I do have an expletive that I'll be tossing out. So if you have sensitive ears or sensitive ears in the room, you may want to turn the volume down or listen in on headphones. So with that said, once again, welcome, welcome. Thank you again so much for joining me this evening. I know that you're a busy lady and you have lots of options to spend your time, and I'm just so thrilled that you've chosen to spend this time with me. So once again, welcome to Your Forever Love, How to Heal the Hurt and Love Again. 5 steps to help you heal the hurt and love again. I'm Bex Burton, your host. I am a transformational love and life coach. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself in just a moment. And one last shot, if anybody wants to jump into the chat room, let's just make sure it's working. Let me know where you're tuning in from and what you're hoping to get most out of our time together this evening. So the chat should be right next to the video. And just go ahead and give me a little love note, where you're dialing in from, what you're hoping to get most out of the evening, while we wait for the room to fill up. We got some quiet people not wanting to reveal their location. So secretive. That's okay. No worries. I do want to make sure that the chat is working. So
Bex, can you see the chat? I'm seeing people fill it up right now. We've got Charlene and Jay and Donna.
Oh, there we go. I had it clicked on. Oh, yay! Thanks. I was clicked on the wrong. Oh, this is beautiful. Sarah Bean, hey girl. Charlene, some of my favorites. Amy, hi, thanks for jumping in. AJ, Jay, we've got a total full room here. Donna, hi, we just spoke on the phone recently. Good to hear you again. Oh, this is wonderful. Thank you guys so much. I'm so touched, and I'm really excited to share with you some sacred content with you tonight. So with that said, let me jump screens. Just give me a moment here for technologies. All right. Once again, welcome to Your Forever Love, 5 steps how to heal the hurt and love again. And I just want to let you know that you know you are in the right place here with me. If you're ready to shake off stagnant energy you feel and move through the heartache that's been holding you back. And you know that you're in the right place if you're done with the cycle that keeps you returning to this place of loss, grief, disappointment, frustration, anger, and hurt. And if you're done with that cycle, give me a little hell yes in the chat box if you're through with that cycle that brings you back to that hurt, disappointment, grief, frustration, that cycle. Who's done with that cycle? I hear you. I see it. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Beautiful. Yes, I am done. Gorgeous. I am done, says Amy. Jay, yes, been done with it. Adriana, hell yes. Nicole, yes. Beautiful. So glad. I'm so glad that you are done with that cycle. And we're going to, tonight I'm going to share with you the 5 steps to heal the hurt so that you can love again, because you are a bright, beautiful creature of the divine, so deserving of the soulmate love you desire. The hurt you feel, it's a vital part of your experience, but it doesn't have to define you, nor do you have to stay there forever. Donna says, yep, I really am, and I want to put paid to it completely. Jackie says, hell yes. Beautiful. So tonight, I'm going to teach you a bunch on this training, and my promise to you is that by the end of this time is done, by the time that we're done together, you will feel lighter, more optimistic and open, and you'll feel more confident about your plan to move forward on your journey to love. You might even be just as excited as Snowfall as this young woman in the photo here. So in this training, I'll be offering you the secret to having limitless love, the key steps to creating fertile ground for strong relationships, knowledge of what's within your power and how to use it to keep your vibration high, some powerful reflections to ease the hurt around any situation, and strategies to support your vision of love and move confidently in the direction of your beloved. Together, we'll be exploring a few different exercises. So again, be sure to have a pen and a notebook in hand. And I'll be opening up the lines at the end for a Q&A. So do me a favor and write down any questions that come to you as we go along in your notebook. And then towards the end, we can pop them into the chat window, okay? One last interjection, housekeeping. If you're having any difficulty with your video or with your sound, make sure everything else on your computer is closed, any other apps, any other browser windows. So shut down your Google, shut down your Facebook, your OkCupid, turn them all off. And in case you missed it at the top of the call, I will be using just a little bit of expletive language. So if you have sensitive ears in the room or you yourself, just be aware, I'm not going to flood you with the F-bomb, but it's coming. Okay. All right. So once again, we'll be exploring a couple of different exercises, strategies to support your vision of love and move you confidently in the direction of your beloved. And if you're interested in getting more help from me directly, I'm going to talk about a special opportunity where you and I can connect after this training, if that's okay with you. Now, if you're just getting to know me, I'm Bex Burton, transformational love coach, dream builder, and joyful wellness ambassador. What does that all mean? Well, it means that I've been put on this planet to help support you achieving the life that you want most to live. And that includes supporting you on your journey to soulmate love. Why? Because I've walked the path you're on. I've hurdled the mental and emotional twists and turns of my own journey to love. And I know without a doubt that divine, exquisite love that I found with my man, Nick, was meant to be shared with the world to inspire women just like you. Yes, I have a divine soulmate relationship with my beloved. I experience with him a love that I've never experienced with any other human being. Together, we are aware and connected. We are present and mindful. We celebrate each other and we honor each other's successes, and we hold each other and support each other through struggles. We get vulnerable. We share who we want to be, what we want in our life, and what we're afraid of. We are committed to striving to be the best self that we can be for us as individuals and for us as a couple. And I can't even begin to describe to you the experience of being partnered with an emotionally intelligent and highly communicative man. It inspires me to connect more deeply with my own emotions and to continue to improve how I communicate, not only with him, but with myself, my peers, and my clients, with everybody. And not only that, but my man fits my heart in so many ways. He is ambitious and driven, highly intelligent, creative, extremely funny, tall, strong, masculine, and sexy. I remember walking around pinching myself for months after we fell in love because the experience absolutely felt like a dream come true. But girl, did I have to take the winding road to get to him. And I took a lot of dead ends and U-turns along the way. I've run the spectrum of serial monogamist to one-night stand collector. I've dated emotionally unavailable men, immature men, possessive men, and abusive men, among many men who also had wonderful qualities, but just weren't my forever man. And I've experienced hurt, deep soul-level hurt that comes along with a relationship I had big hopes for, but fell apart. And the hurt was never all about him. I mean, there was always a huge self-blame and embarrassment component to each and every breakup I had. And that always brought me back around to the same belief that I wasn't good enough for lasting love, that there was something wrong with me, and I was doing more harm in relationships than good. One of the last relationships I was in before meeting Nick was a mutually agreed upon casual relationship with a friend who I loved hanging out with. He was smart, playful, and curious, a bit of a brainiac bad boy, if there is such a thing. He was part of a circle of friends that I put on a pedestal, and I really thought I had it made with him. I thought I finally found a guy who's smart and lives outside the box, has a successful career, and a group of friends that I already love hanging out with. He definitely had long-term potential in my mind. And even though we were both clear from the beginning that our relationship would stay surface, several months in, as we do, I noticed my feelings changing and I began to desire more. Because you see, no matter how much we say we want a casual relationship, ladies, no matter how much we say we can keep it light or not get uptight or too needy or however it shakes down in your world, the bottom line is that in truth, we women really do desire long-lasting, deeply connected romantic partnership. And when I brought it up with him, he was not interested or available in taking a bigger role in my life and our relationship. And here I was again in the same position of being disappointed and hurt by yet another man. Girl, I was furious for days after that talk. My ego was going nuts upstairs, going, you don't know who I am, and I'm a big fucking deal. Loads of guys would kill to be with me, which if you follow my work, I'm a BFD has become a tongue-in-cheek mantra that my clients know to adopt. But after my emotional fire stopped raging, I was moved to make different decisions than those from the past, which led me to being hurt and wrecked for weeks, if not longer. I decided to look at the big picture, and I saw a choice in front of me. I could be happy for the connection and stay in a less than satisfying half relationship to have my surface needs met, but my deeper needs wanting. I could be hurt, disappointed, and angry that my friend, who was very upfront from the beginning about what he could and couldn't offer, I could be pissed that he couldn't give me what I wanted. Or I could accept the fact that what I wanted had changed, that he did nothing wrong. He simply no longer filled my clearer, more fully expressed desires. Well, that didn't stop me from losing several nights of sleep, soaking my pillows with tears of disappointment, but they were also tears of surrender. So why am I telling you this story? What is that surrender about? Well, this was the turning point for me. Deep down, I knew that making the choice not to settle for less than extraordinary and making the choice to let this relationship go gracefully, happy for the experience, but committing to the possibility of more, would ultimately lead me to my big love. Now, you might be thinking, well, Bex, my pain hurts more. My situation is different. I was played or I was betrayed. But I will tell you that the pain of heartache, losing somebody special in your life, whether they horribly wronged you or they disappointed you left and right, the tools shared on this training tonight will help you get your head and your heart back on track and open to love again. So let's have a look at the science of heartache for a moment, because there's some science behind it that has a chemical effect on your experience. You may have heard of the pleasure neurotransmitter dopamine, and you've likely heard of the hormone called oxytocin. Well, according to The Idiot Brain by Dean Burnett, he says, being in love elevates dopamine activity in the reward pathway, meaning we experience pleasure in a partner's presence almost like a drug. And he goes on to talk about oxytocin. He says, oxytocin is often referred to as the love hormone. And it does appear to be elevated in people in relationships. And it has been linked to feelings of trust and connection in humans. So if you know about the brain, you know that our neurotransmitters carry messages along neural pathways that are carved into our brain like highways across the landscape of our brain through experience and repetition. Our brains get accustomed to these elevated states of pleasure, trust, and connection, and classify them as normal. And they begin to expect similar levels of dopamine and oxytocin day in and day out. Both dopamine and oxytocin are pleasure inducers. And dopamine is a powerful neurotransmitter that is released even in the anticipation of an expected pleasure. We often hear about dopamine in cases of addiction. And sure enough, in the absence of your partner's presence, your brain is no longer generating the same heightened levels of dopamine and therefore chemically experiencing similar withdrawal effects as if you were kicking an addictive habit. No wonder you feel awful, unmotivated, stuck, and upset. It's totally normal, and you're exactly where you need to be. You're actually experiencing a biological phenomenon that contributes to your feelings. And the great news is that you have a lot of power here. You have the choice to manage these feelings skillfully or unskillfully. Knowing that you have diminished levels of pleasure inducers firing and connecting upstairs opens up an opportunity for you to reroute those pleasure pathways into self-sustainable pathways. So that even if you carve new pleasure pathways when you meet your beloved, you have strong pleasure pathways established within yourself to amplify and support the new ones brought on by your beloved. So with that said, let's dive into the 5 steps to heal the hurt and love again. Step 1. Love up on your juicy self. So often, it's our tendency to sweep the hurt under the rug, or bury yourself in distraction like work and pretending that you're fine. Now, this may help you in the immediate, but your feelings of anger, hurt, and disappointment will only get buried deeper to fester. Your triggers won't be addressed, and you'll be in the same place again because nothing has shifted. So, what are specific ways that you can love up on your juicy self? Well, the very first piece of this step is to declare your commitment to yourself. This time is for you. In some way, this time has been gifted to you to discover more about yourself. So I really want you to honor this time and to make a declaration to avoid active pursuit of your beloved right now. And that means closing out your Match account, uninstalling Tinder from your phone, and stop taking the route home that passes by your crush's workplace. Commit to you for at least 30 days. Make the commitment longer if your relationship was longer or the hurt is deep. Oh, you guys are so great. I just checked out the chat window and you're talking about, yes, Jay says it's called paying your dues. Adriana, I want that. Thank you. I'll check the chat a little bit more frequently. Sorry, guys. All right, so we're talking about declaring your commitment to yourself. All right, actively avoiding the pursuit of your beloved for a short period of time. All right, I'm not talking about taking years off, but it's 30 days, a little bit longer if you feel the need. And I want you to hear me on this, because if you disregard this step, I have no doubt you will be in this place again before long. And I'm not trying to say that to be an asshole, but you need to begin to do things differently to get different results. The women who work with me in my year-long group heart tuning course have a 6-month dating hiatus agreement for exactly this reason. Now, I know for some of you, this isn't the biggest challenge. Being single or not dating for 6 months might be a breeze for you. But that 6 months is spent in divine connection with your highest self. So consider taking on that challenge. All right, loving up on your juicy self. The next part of that is, it might sound basic, but when you're broken down from heartache, you need to go back to basics. So foundational practices like eating 3 balanced meals a day, getting your 8 glasses of hydrating water in, making sure you're getting the right amount of sleep, 7 to 9 hours. I just listened to a brilliant Marie Forleo interview today with Ariana Huffington, who just wrote a book about sleep, and it's called The Sleep Revolution. She's talking about how important sleep is to our experience and our productivity, our creativity, our emotions. So getting the right amount of sleep, not too much, not too little, 7 to 9 hours, and getting your daily movement in. All right, ladies, I want you to write this one down. Emotion needs motion. Emotion needs motion. Many of you know this already, but before I stepped into this work, I was a fitness coach, and I saw time and time again the transformation in my clients' attitude and outlook after just 30 minutes of physical exertion. And daily movement is one of the prescriptions I give my coaching clients today. Most of the time, going all Beyonce lemonade on it isn't an option. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Beyonce lemonade baseball bat. You'll get it. And if you can't cry it out, if you can't talk it out, girl, I swear, I know you can sweat it out. Beautiful. I see some comments. Okay, yeah, I hear this. So just once again, I'm going to address the questions at the end. So make sure that if you're asking questions now, to please pop back in with that question at the end. So if you're not writing them down in your notebook, do that too. All right. Another thing that you can do to love up on your juicy self is take on grounding practices. Grounded practices are things you do to pull your energy back from the whirlwind of your mind to the deeper knowing and understanding of your heart. And the heart is the foundation of your intuition. So examples of grounding practices include breath work, meditation, journaling, yoga, coloring, mindful cooking, beauty walks, time in nature. You know, I live in Colorado and I am so blessed to have mountains at my fingertips. You know, I used to live by the ocean and I felt the same way. And even if you don't, you know, there's likely a park where there are trees, but connect, hug a tree. You know, even time with your furry friends is grounding and can pull you out of your head and into your heart. You know, these are all just examples of activities to help you slow down and just be. Getting you quiet on the outside will help you turn up the volume on the inside. You know, and additionally, journaling about the heartache, the loss, the entire experience can be very cathartic. There have been studies shown that journaling actually has a very positive effect on healing, and it can be very effective in releasing trapped emotions. So get yourself into a grounding practice, if not daily, on a regular basis. And again, it doesn't have to be the same. All right. Spend time. Yes. Next, spend time celebrating your greatness. Again, loving up on your juicy self. You know, we seem to forget so often in our day-to-day and our hustle that you are a bright, beautiful creature of the divine. You know, my teacher, Mary Morrissey, reminds us that you can't make your own heart beat or begin the breath that breathes life into you on your own. You are powered by greatness. And even in your darkest times, there is always greatness in you. And part of loving up on your juicy self is identifying your greatness. So I'd like to share an exercise with you that my coach recently shared with me. So pen, paper at the ready. The very first step is I want you to think of 3 things you've done really well in life, where you've succeeded, where you've hit a goal or triumphed. And go ahead and write those down in your notebook right now. I'm going to give you a second to do that. Yeah, Jay, extreme self-care. I love it. Yeah, and I'll address that 30-day why a strict timeline. Amy, I hear your question. I'll address that towards the end. Yeah, Sarah Bean's got that. Yep. Okay. So 3 things that you've done really well in life, where you've succeeded, hit a goal, or triumphed. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture, but something that you feel really proud of. Okay. The next step, I want you to write down the qualities, the traits that you needed to have in that time to do the thing that you did. Go ahead and write that down. What did it take? Who did you have to be? You know, for me, I think of one of the things that I was really proud of in my history was I produced a 100-person group choreographed dance. And, you know, if you've ever produced any kind of event or performance, you know what kind of effort goes into it. And I was really proud of that. And I knew that who I had to be to pull that off was committed and focused and loose, because, you know, things pop up and you have to go with the flow, right? So what are your 3 qualities? Okay, so I want to hear some of these answers, and go ahead and drop some of the qualities in the chat box. You don't have to share with me the experience, but share with me who you had to be. What are the qualities that you had to have to pull off this thing that you did that you were proud of? Was it that you had to be dedicated? Was it that you had to be disciplined? Did you have to be strong? Did you have to be aware? Did you have to be curious? What 3 qualities did you need to do the thing you did? Sarah Bean says, I have had to continually persevere and challenge my own experience of childhood. Yes. Perseverance and self-challenge. Yep, another one. AJ says perseverance, authenticity, capable. Beautiful. Amy says dedicated, compassionate, willing to forge my own way. Oh, that's a good one. Pioneering. Dedicated, hardworking, living. Yes. You had to have faith, work very hard. You had to have patience. That's a good one. That will come up. Beautiful, ladies. All right. So I know that these are going to keep on coming in, but tough and organized, says Donna. Yes. I had to be willing for someone not to like me. Oh, that's huge. That's great. So what I want next, and you can do this after the call. Oops, sorry, I gave that away. I want you to look at these qualities before we go into that next step. And I want you to know that these things that still live inside of you. You know, sometimes we get disconnected from these qualities because we're further away from that experience and we've had a hurdle to jump through. You know, they may feel distant now, but this is the practice that made me say, I'm a big fucking deal when that relationship dissolved. And it helped me reclaim and step into even bigger greatness. So you can write this in your notebook, but what I'd love for you to do is after this call, I want you to grab a couple of Post-it notes. And on the Post-it note, I want you to write the statement, I am, followed by some of these qualities. And you can do them all on one Post-it note, or you can do one quality per Post-it note. I really don't care because it's effective either way. But what I want you to do, though, is I want you to make several Post-it notes, at least 3 of them, and stick them around your house where you will be reminded of your greatness every single day. Loving up on your yummy self is a direct pathway to lasting love, because when you can fill your cup from within, you truly have the key to limitless love. Okay. I'm just going to take a second to break for a sip of water and pop in with the chat and make sure everybody's on the same page with me with loving up in your juicy self. If you are loving this juicy self-love direction, give me a hell yes in the chat window. Just let me know that this is helpful and you are loving what you're hearing. Gumption. Yeah, that's great. Extremely brave. Beautiful. Yes. Great. AJ says yes. Loving it. Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. Beautiful. There is a little bit of a delay, so just know that we're running back and forth. And I live in a very quaint town just outside of Boulder, Colorado, that has a freight train that runs through it every so often. And the train is coming, so do not be alarmed. You might hear a freight train on the line. But, you know, I called the conductor earlier and told him that I had this really important call tonight, but he didn't really oblige. Beautiful. More. Yes, yes. Hell yes. Hell yes. Just what I need right now. Oh, Diane, thank you. That is music to my heart. Jay, it's motivating me to take responsibility. Yes, Jay, yes. If not you, who? All right. So next up, we have step 2. To heal the hurt and love again. Untangle the web of your emotions. All right, so put your thinking caps on. Take a deep breath. In times of heartache, it's very easy to point blame at the other person or even directly at ourselves. Our ego is strong. It will replay the scene over and over and fight about who was right and why. I know you felt that. I know you've replayed that over and over and just fuming or upset and just feeling the righteousness of why you were right or the hurt of how badly you were wrong. It goes both ways. You know, we can get so overwhelmed with emotions that might drive us to make big sweeping decisions about our life or give up on love completely. But there's a better way. And untangling the web of your emotions is one of the most powerful practices you can take on because it is one of the very few things we actually have control over. Now, you might have a serious tangle on your hands, which we won't be able to untangle in one training, but I'll give you the steps I give my clients and the very steps I practice myself for untangling my own web of emotions. So first, notice what you're noticing. All right, again, my dear friend, awareness, our dear friend, awareness comes into play. And you need that awareness to identify where you are exactly so you have a reference point to move from. Now, if you've followed step 1, loving up on your juicy self, then you have built some quiet grounding time into your day. And just a quick note on that, it doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't even have to be 20 minutes. You know, I would recommend a practice of 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe even that might be long for you, and your entry point is 5 minutes. But the way I work with my clients, I recommend that they tack on 5 minutes as their beginning until they build up to somewhere between a 10 and 20 minute practice. If you choose to go longer, that's fine. But, 10 minutes really is ideal at a baseline minimum. Again, yeah, so you've carved out that grounding time into your day. And this grounding time is a great time for you to turn inward. And in that turning inward, scan for what you're feeling and name the different emotions that are contributing to your state of being in the moment. And it's a good practice for however you're feeling. You don't want to just wait until your complex emotions pop up to do this. You want to ingrain this practice into your very being, so it is readily accessible during those times. So for practice, we're going to do this now. Have your sheet of paper out and let's take a moment to find some grounding, all right? What I'd like you to do, you can drop your pen for a moment, close your eyes, and place a hand over your heart. And I'd like you to begin 3 deep grounding breaths. I'll breathe with you. Breathing in through your nose, filling your lungs, filling your belly until you're full, and then keep going just a little bit more. And then an audible exhale out, releasing the pressure in the abdomen. Let's take that breath one last time. So go ahead and open your eyes and stay in that grounded place that we've just found. Ask yourself, what do you notice in your body? Write it down. Is there tension? Is there fatigue? Is there heaviness? Is there warmth? Is there flow? Is there freedom? Scan your body again for the physical sensations. I have a little tightness in my right ankle, a little kink in my shoulder, a little tension in my jaw. But I also feel a little buoyant in my center. I feel bright and open in my headspace. Okay, bring that writing to completion. You can always repeat this practice or come back to it later. But let's just reground with one more deep breath, a big breath in. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And then audible exhale out. Now scan your body. Scan your presence, scan your essence for what do you notice about how you're feeling? And go ahead and write these things down. And I want you to name emotions, calling them by their proper defined terms. You're feeling content, open, receptive, joyful, grateful. Use whatever words name the emotions that you're experiencing right now. And when we name them with their proper defined terms, it helps diffuse the experience of that emotion. And this is particularly helpful when that emotion is a charged or complex emotion. You may have heard the saying, if you can name it, you can tame it. You can go ahead and bring that writing to completion. Again, you can always come back to it. And I want you to get in the practice of scanning for your emotions, scanning for your physical sensations, and scanning for your emotions. Again, if you can name it, you can tame it. And at that point, you can approach it and you can dance with it. And that's not something that we're going to get to on our training tonight, but it is something that I work with my clients on because this is a complex step, untangling the web of your emotions. You know, Brené Brown calls this step, when we approach it and dance with it, she calls it the rumble. And that's exactly what it takes to experience and release challenging emotions like grief, sadness, loss, hurt, anger, frustration, and disappointment. Once you've named them, a rumble with the truth and the source of these emotions will ensure they are honored, heard, felt, understood, and recognized in the bigger picture of your life. Okay. Beautiful. I see a couple of emotions coming through. Adriana says she's open. Jay says accomplished. Wonderful. All right, moving on into step 3. Take a front row seat to the movie of your life. And I love that earlier in the chat, Donna said that she's very good at making up her own movies. Well, here we are. Step 3, take a front row seat to the movie of your life. And step 2 and step 3 are very similar in that they land squarely within the realm of your control. They are also more challenging than our convenient low vibration options because they require quite a bit of self-reflection and, again, our dear friend, awareness. It's far easier to act from your place of hurt and keep texting your ex or sleeping with the man who cheated on you or take revenge out on the man who done you wrong. But all of these examples are external plays that do nothing for the deeper matter at hand. You know, in order to facilitate healing, you must take a non-judgmental evaluation of your experience. And that's what I mean by take a front row seat to the movie of your life. It's a non-judgmental evaluation of your experience. And that simply means taking a third-party perspective on the situation. And I like to call it taking a front row seat to the movie of your life because, well, who doesn't love a good movie? All right, so the first bit here, I want you to imagine that you are witnessing the scene, whatever scene that stands out in your mind as a pivotal moment of the heartache. I mean, I'm sure you've got that. I'm sure there's at least one. So imagine that you're witnessing that scene through someone else's eyes. And if that's a stretch, you can try looking at that scene through the eyes of your highest self. Next, I want you to explore all possibilities of viewing your experience. How did each party contribute to the disconnect or situation at hand? What were the exact words that were said? What did you need in that moment? And did you ask for it? What did you feel? And what did you communicate? And did you communicate that? So in this practice, you're looking for the facts and trying to steer away from judgment, shame, and blame. So really, in order to do this step effectively, you need a little space between you and the emotions. So it's okay if it takes you some time and some repetition to be able to do this. But this step is absolutely worth revisiting and repeating. I mentioned Brené Brown earlier. I'm reading her book, Rising Strong. And in that book, she shared with her therapist a story of being put out by a situation with a disrespectful person. And if you've read the book, it's the story of the roommate with cinnamon bun hands, icing hands, I guess. And so she's sharing this story with her therapist. She felt like this woman was really disrespectful. And her therapist confronted her with this question: what if she was doing the best that she could with the tools and skills she had in that moment? What if she was doing the best she could with the skills and tools she had in that moment? And I think this is a really powerful question we can adopt into our own practice. But before I ask you to turn that question outward, I'd like you to turn that question inward. Think of the incident that has caused your suffering. What is it that is the source of this heartache right now? Now think of your role in the situation. Ask yourself, with the tools and skills you had at the time, do you think you did your best? Do you think you did the best you could? Yeah, Adriana says, I was just telling my sister this earlier. Everyone does the best they can with awareness they have. So true. So when you turn that question inward and you ask yourself, do I think that I was doing my best? Now, of course, I know my perfectionists out there will say, of course not. I can always be doing better. So sure, I will give you that. But lady, in that moment, did you try to do your best? And now think of the other party in the situation. Think of where he's coming from, his mindset, his patterns, and his triggers. Do you think he did the very best he could with what he had available to him in that moment? So I ask you, what would happen if you began to give people the benefit of the doubt and assume they are doing the best they can? Now, this is not an invitation for people to walk all over you. But benefit of the doubt, innocent until proven guilty. This is one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my relationship. And when I assume that my partner is doing the best that he can, it opens up space and compassion for recognizing what gaps we have to close in our communication and relating. It doesn't make us wrong. It shows us where we can show up better for each other. And this is the beginning of a powerful healing exercise called sowing seeds that I give my clients as they move through different relationship experiences, not just romantic, but with friends, family members, and coworkers. It helps us identify what is working, as well as where we and the other party have room to grow. Jay says, because I didn't know any better, I did not do better. Because I didn't know any better, I did what I could. Yep. And that's beautiful. Here we are again in loving up on our juicy self and loving ourselves for our imperfection. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more in just a second. But step 4 coming up right at you. Bam. Step 4 to healing the hurt and loving again. Build your team of dreamers. Build your team of dreamers. And I just want to point out this photo that I've got up here. This is not a stock photo, which many of my photos are not, but this is the actual wedding party of a dear, beloved couple friend of mine. Many of you have heard my story of attending 3 transformational weddings the year that I met Nick. And this was one of them. It was in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And the bride and groom had us all converge on the beach and make a heart to take a photo. And up in the right-hand corner, you'll see a bright orange parasol. That's me. But let's get right into step 4 without further ado. Build your team of dreamers. Again, if we allow our ego to sit in the driver's seat, you'll quickly lose your way because you'll be steered directly into the arms and ears of commiserating parties. You know what I'm talking about. The ladies, it might be your divorced girlfriend or your friend who's just gotten through a breakup and they're bashing the ex all the time. And everything that they have to say is supporting you in your belief that all men are scum, or, and sometimes it's even your mom when she says things like, there's just no one good enough for you, or there's just no one good enough for my little girl. So the first thing, recognize your commiserating parties. These people love you dearly, but bless their hearts, they are not helping. They drag you down and they keep you in the holding pattern of hurt, reinforcing the belief structures forming in you, backed by their own pain and suffering that they haven't dealt with from their own experiences. So in order for you to be able to heal and love again, you need to surround yourself with the people who will help support and reinforce your vision of big love in your life. And that's one of the reasons why I chose this photo, is because this is one of the weddings that I witnessed what divine love really is. And it just changed my life forever. Demis Hassabis and Eleanor Maguire of the Wellcome Trust Center for Neuroimaging, Institute of Neurology in London, found that being able to visualize a better future meant that it was more likely for a person to actually bring that future into existence. They state, the ability to construct a hypothetical situation in one's imagination prior to it actually occurring may afford a greater accuracy in predicting its eventual outcome. I'm just going to read that one more for a time for you because I forgot to make a slide of this one. But the ability to construct a hypothetical situation in one's imagination prior to it actually occurring may afford greater accuracy in predicting its eventual outcome. Now, if that sounds familiar to you, then yes, you're right. This is the foundation of the law of attraction. Everything is created twice. The clothes you're wearing, the chair you're sitting in, the device you're tuning into this training on, it all began as a thought, an imagined blueprint in somebody's brain that eventually became a drawing and then a reality. And our experiences are no different. Conjuring your beloved into your life is no different. But you need to be around the people who can reinforce the vision of soulmate love in your life rather than tear down the possibility with sarcastic and commiserating comments. So, I ask you, who has what you want? Who has what you want? Who in your life has a loving soulmate relationship that you respect and admire? I want you to write down 5 couples in your life. Right now, all you need to do is write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because you can come back and fill this in later, but these are 5 couples in your life, either directly or remotely, whose love you respect and admire. Go ahead and get started on that now. Who comes to mind immediately? Maybe you've got 1 or 2. Go ahead and write them down. Okay. Now, it's not just limited to the extraordinary couples in your life. Who are the single women in your life who are enjoying their dating practice? Or the single ladies in your life who are lighthearted and have a good sense of humor about their love life? Again, stretch yourself and write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, you can come back to it, but this is going to be the second set of 5 is going to be for single women in your life who hold positive feelings about love. And again, I'm sure immediately you might even have 1 or 2 that come to mind. Go ahead and write their names down. They don't have to be in your town. They could be somebody that you know that lives far away, but you have an internet connection with. Totally fine. It could be a coworker. You know, you can come back to this exercise later, but if 1 or 2 come immediately, again, hooray. And again, some of these are family members. Maybe you've got an aunt or an uncle. Maybe they're friends or acquaintances. Like I said, a coworker could even display this for you. But those who hold love in high regard and can share the joys and benefits of it are those with whom you want to be keeping company. And if this exercise is a struggle for you, if you're having a hard time thinking of 5 couples or 5 single women who hold love, who hold positive feelings about love, who have a love that you respect and admire, if that's a stretch for you, if that's a struggle, consider joining women's groups or courses that offer a strong community of like-minded women who are calling in their divine beloved. You know, I'm someone you can put on that list of couples with love that you respect and admire. I shared with you my story. And later on this call, I'll be sharing a little bit more about my community that you can join. All right, you guys ready for step 5? Coming at you. Step 5, be the love you want to see. The 5th step for healing the hurt and loving again that I will share with you today is to be the love you want to see in the world. Now, before you roll your eyes at me or ask me if I want some wine with my cheese, I will tell you that these were the exact words of a client shared with me in a moment that I felt was a huge turnaround for her. I almost fell out of my chair when she said this to me. Because, you know, this client is a very intelligent, successful, and very pragmatic New Yorker healing the wounds from a divorce. You know, she's carried the hurt of being wronged by her ex for years, and it's been contributing to her love block. But recently, moving through similar steps as I've outlined tonight, she reached a point of softening when she took a front row seat to the movie of her life. She recognized that she had a hand in the dissolve of the relationship that they were both young and they were both doing the very best that they could with the tools they had at the time. She recognized that to forgive him was a great act of self-love, that she had been holding so much toxic judgment, both for him and much deeper under the surface for herself. And this opened up space for her to forgive herself too. And being able to find love and acceptance for not only her ex, but who she was at the time of the divorce, it brought her to the decision to be the love she wants to see in the world. She recognized that it all starts from within, that our outward criticisms are really a reflection of the deep criticism that happens inside of us. This awareness and attention to forgive is yet another thing we have control over. That healing of hurt takes a certain softness and gentleness with ourselves, as if we were emerging new and vulnerable, like a baby bird hatching from its shell. And just like that baby bird, a healing heart takes time and guidance to grow strong. So have patience with yourself through this process. And in moments when you feel overwhelm, uncertainty, doubt, or fear, remember the baby bird hatching from its shell and allow yourself the space for growth. You don't need the answers right now. You don't need to be perfect. You may have fucked up royally, but that doesn't need to define who you are today. We are all on our own path, and you are moving forward one step at a time. Notice what opens up when you grant patience with yourself and extend that loving patience with others. Now what I want you to do is write down 3 ways where you can be more loving with yourself. Where can you be more loving with yourself? Maybe you need to have more patience. Maybe you need to employ some of these grounding practices. Maybe you need to let go of the self-blame you've been holding on to for a mistake you made years ago. I see you. All right, big breath in. All right, lady cakes, I want to rewind. So just to cover up, give you a spin around what we just covered, the 5 steps to healing the hurt and loving again, ways in which we can create new self-sustaining pleasure pathways in our brain for a full cup that runneth over with love for your beloved. First, number 1, spend a good long time loving up on your juicy self. And I know somebody asked, like, why 30 days? And I love the answer Sarah Bean offered, to give yourself a container. It is absolutely true. You know, don't gyp yourself on your healing time out of fear or scarcity. You know, I know the tendency is to be like, well, if I'm not online, or if I'm not actively dating, or if I'm not looking, if I'm not in active pursuit, I might miss him. But that's just simply not true. And, you know, if you have a block around that, then let's get on the phone, because I have a story that will blow your freaking mind about me and my beloved and our timing. But bottom line, the more you fill your own cup, the more you have to give to your beloved. Number 2, untangle the web of your beautiful, imperfect emotions. Again, this lands in the house of what you have control over. Remember, this is your golden key to transforming your experience through life and your dating practice. If you don't have this connection with your emotions and this understanding, this literacy and intelligence, then I guarantee you, you're going to find yourself in the same pattern over and over again. Number 3, take a front row seat to the movie of your life. Get yourself some popcorn, give yourself a kombucha, whatever. But you're going to take your third-party observational seat and explore all possibilities of viewing the experience. Not just yours, not just the wounded perception that you have from, your deep core wounds, but how might your best friend see it? How might your mother look at it? How did your mate experience it? How did each party contribute to the disconnect or situation at hand? Number 4, build your team of dreamers. If you build it, he will come. Surround yourself with like-minded women and women who have what you want. The energy around your thoughts and words will vibrate in alignment with your vision of big love. Number 5, be the love you want to see. You've got to start at home. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers, but you do have to appreciate your humanity and love yourself for all your wins and all of your stumbles. Everything is practice. You're always researching. There's no such thing as failure. We're always refining. Find the love for you in all your imperfect greatness, and this will be the magnet that pulls your beloved to you. Now, here's the thing about these 5 steps. They can be very powerful and move you through even the deepest of heartache. But you have to commit to them. These aren't just a one-time deal, a fly-by-night. Committing to these practices is, in a sense, committing to your beloved. It's committing to your highest self. And they are the practices. Like I said, these are practices. Some days you'll do them really well. Some days you'll suck. But the idea with commitment is that you keep coming back and returning to your practice as best as you can. If you have a yoga practice, it's the very same idea. The tricky bit is walking the path alone. When you've spent so much time researching in the field with your love life and yielding the same disappointing results, it may be that you need a support system, a tribe of women surrounding you to be your team of dreamers, to reflect back to you your greatness, to help you untangle your web of emotions, and to keep you strongly centered on your path to love. A tribe of sassy, supportive sisters who help you stay in alignment with your big vision of love. You may also be needing some structure. And perhaps thus far your approach has been kind of willy-nilly, accepting what's been presented to you rather than strategically magnetizing in someone extraordinary. And there is absolutely strategy behind calling in your beloved. And that's exactly why I've been put on this planet to help you. I guide women just like you through a 12-month heart-tuning journey. It's a virtual class that is designed to reboot your heart in alignment with the seasons of the year, moving through the 5 steps you learned today and so much more. I created this course because I know just how many single women struggle finding love. When your hurt outweighs your belief, or your scarcity outweighs your abundance, many times it comes down to the fact that you just don't have the support or a plan. So I've created this course so you can gain the mindset and skills you need to attract your divine love in. Together, we dive into 4 cycles of transformation in rhythm with the planet. From autumn to winter, we enter the darkest months, and this is where we focus on discovering your heart magnet. These months are spent heightening your inner awareness. Practices similar to the ones we did today: self-love, understanding emotions, non-judgmental observations, and rewriting patterns. It's the deep, heart-centered work that no relationship can survive without. From winter to spring, we prime your heart magnet, moving you into authentic emergence, worthiness, your femininity, and skillful communication. So you emerge to the second half of our year in your full, radiant authenticity, more bright and beautiful than ever before. From spring to summer, we calibrate your heart magnet. Calibration station, Rhythm Nation. So in the calibration phase, we're igniting your passion and receptivity. We're putting more of yourself out into the world and opening you up to the abundant return. Raising your pleasure states, creating goals and rituals, practices to open wide the doors of your consciousness to receive and to give. We're raising your vibration and your momentum. And then from summer to autumn, we cultivate celebration and co-creation through conscious heart magnet attraction. We get you out there into action, girl, with fun being your primary motivator. We get you out on the dance floor of your dating practice, where to be, what you need to do, and what you got to wear. Now, this course is delivered virtually, so you can enroll from anywhere on the planet as long as you have a phone or internet access. And let me give you a quick breakdown of what you get. So over the course of a year, you'll get 3 60-minute group calls every single month. The calls are recorded if you can't make it live. And because we don't get everything that we need on that group call, you'll get 6 30-minute private calls to be used as needed at any point during our year together. I'll move you through the proprietary heart tuning coaching in 4 phases that I just outlined: discovering, priming, calibrating, and attracting. You'll get access to the private Facebook group of soulful women joining you on this journey. Some of the closest bonds that I've witnessed in groups have come from these interconnections. You'll get an accountability buddy assigned to you who is in alignment with your journey and your time zone. And this is optional, though I do say that those who pair up have a higher success rate than those who don't. And you will have 1 ticket to attend a live catered retreat in February of 2017, hosted by yours truly, a Valentine's getaway to the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. And right now, through the end of the month, the course is $497 to enroll. That's the deposit that you would pay between now and the end of July to hold your place. And the monthly investment for the course of the year is $497, and that activates in October. So we have a couple of calls that begin in September, and your payments will begin in October. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to decide in this moment. You know, I know that for some of you, you might just had a little freak out moment. And I hear that. I totally hear that. You know, this is an investment. But listen, Jenny's going to put up a link to book a call with me, a heart tuning call, where you and I will get on the phone and chat for about 30 minutes. You'll share with me what it is you desire most in your life right now and why. And together we'll determine the best course of action. All right? No pressure. This is, you know, I want to make sure that it's the right decision for both of us. And that's why I ensure that we get on the phone and chat with it. Here's the thing though, if you know that this is something you want and you know that it can help you, I'm offering a special bonus to the early action takers. Okay, so if you have heard the 5 steps and you've heard my story and you feel alignment and you're like full body yes to this course, you've got several early action bonuses. The first one is you'll get locked into the early action investment price of $497 monthly. That's a $650 savings over the course of the year. So you'll save $50 on your deposit, and you'll save $50 on your monthly investment for the duration of the course. Because at the end of this month, this $497 deal is over, and the monthly investment will actually go up, okay? When you enroll this week, you will get a 3-hour VIP day with me. Once again, this and the following bonuses are only available this week. 3-hour VIP day with me is a one-on-one video call. You and I get on Skype or Google Hangout or the telephone if that's what you prefer, no problem. We'll address 4 areas of your goals: health, relationships, work or creative expression, and your time and money freedom. So we're talking about a little bit beyond just your love life. We're talking about your big picture altogether. That is valued at $1,797. And if you are in, like Flynn, this group heart tuning journey and you want to enroll this week, that 3-hour VIP day is yours. In addition, you'll get 2 additional private 30-minute calls. So that's 8 calls over the course of the year in total. That's valued at $597. You will also get a pre-course activity specific to your situation. That's something that will work out on your VIP day. That's valued at $297. And you'll get a special heart tuning gift from me with love, and that's valued at $47. Now, I'm only offering these bonuses to the early action takers who raise their hand and jump wholeheartedly into the group heart tuning course this week. Enrollment is open, and I have a limited number of seats. So if you know that this is the perfect next step for you, then let's get on a call. Over the course of the year, I will share with you the very process I walked through when calling in my big love, because I believe wholeheartedly in this transformational path, and I know it can be just as powerful for you. And I want the decision to be easy for you, so let me help you out. This course is not for you if you're looking for the shortcut to your next boyfriend or any relationship that is just good enough. If you don't believe in big love or you're convinced it's not out there for you. I'm going to say that. If you don't believe, this course is not for you. If you don't believe in a power greater than you that connects us all, if you don't believe in divine wisdom, source energy, or your highest self, if you don't believe in miracles, then I'm sorry, this course is not for you. This course is for you, however, if you have a glimmer of hope, a glimmer of belief that big love is available to you. The course is for you if you've had a rocky road and you want a co-pilot to help smooth the ride. The course is for you if you can't see your own blind spots and would benefit from a community of sisters who can help you see all angles. And if you're tired of getting the same disappointing results, and if you are ready to be rid of drama and heartache and finally have the lasting love you desire. Now, I know for a fact that you got on this training to heal your heart and welcome love into your life. I also know the pain of heartache and that your healing from loss can feel just as deep and intense as recovering from addiction. I also know that we can't do our greatest work alone. And if you've been doing everything within your power to attract your big love and are still coming up short, it's possible that you need partners on this path. And part of you already knows if you want to join me on this journey. You can feel it in your gut. Your intuition, your divine feminine knowing already knows whether you should be in this course. And I want you to trust yourself. If all you got was learning how to get out of your old patterns that are keeping you in bad relationships, this would be worth it. If all you got was learning how to live in your feminine to better attract the type of man you really want, this would be worth it. If all you got was a permanent boost to your confidence, if all you got was having more fun dating, releasing your expectations, and getting more connected, this would be worth it. If all you got was an understanding of how to shift your energy and finally gaining a knowing that big love is possible for you, this investment would be worth it. Would you agree? So once again, here's what you get in the course. 3 60-minute recorded group calls every month for 12 months. 6 30-minute private calls to be used as needed at any point during our year together. The proprietary heart tuning coaching in 4 phases: discovering, priming, calibrating, and attracting. The private Facebook group of soulful women joining you on this journey. An optional accountability buddy assigned to you. And a live catered retreat in the beautiful Rocky Mountains of Colorado in February 2017. In addition, when you enroll this week, you'll get a 3-hour VIP day. That's one-on-one private video call with me to address 4 areas of goals in your life. You'll get a $650 savings over the duration of the course. Again, this offer will not last and the investment will go up. It will go up very quickly. You'll get 2 additional private 30-minute calls, and you'll get a pre-course activity specific to you and a special heart tuning gift from me with love. Excuse me. Once again, I invite you to hop on a call with me to discuss your unique heart and how I might support you. You know, lady, regardless of whether we end up working together or not, I promise to give you some perspective and a plan to move you forward. There's really no pressure, okay? So I don't want you to feel like if you get on this call, you're obligated to say yes, all right? If you know in your heart that this is the next step for you, then click the link to jump on a call and I'll get you started right away by scheduling that bonus VIP day, like in the next couple of weeks, okay? The way I see it, you have a fork in your path and you can make a decision now. You can go back to the life that you've lived and take these 5 steps with you and go about it the way you've always done it, self-directed and driven and solo. And if that begins to heal you and make you happy, then great. We've done really good work here tonight. The other option is you can make a decision right here and right now to take a different path, to step into your feminine and ask and receive help, to be part of the new feminine paradigm of working in community rather than fighting solo. You can book a private heart tuning session with me this week to see if you're a good fit for this journey. All right, so I'll just ask you, what will it be? Now, I would love to take a little bit of time and open up the lines for the Q&A. I know you guys have been asking some questions. We do have a little bit of time and you've got my attention. So please, if you have any questions about the material we've covered tonight, or my group heart tuning journey, by all means, drop your questions in the chat. Meow. Okay, and I'm just gonna take this time to scroll through some of the previous questions. I know many of them have been addressed. Yeah, why a strict timeline on that timeout of dating? Yeah, it's absolutely, I love what Sarah Bean said, 30 days is a beautiful thing. It's about making a container of time to connect with our personal selves. It's really true, you know, because if we start introducing new love interests into that container, you know, we might get swayed. We may not completely untangle the web of our emotions or understand our triggers, or, and again, we'll fall into the same traps and the same patterns if we don't take the time to really analyze them. And 30 days is really a quality period of time. Okay, other questions? What does a typical 20-minute grounding session look like? Amy asks. That's a great question. It really depends on the individual. Some people will choose a grounding session of like seated meditation on pillow. And that can be a recorded meditation, guided meditation. It could also be a self-driven, breath-driven meditation. It could be 20 minutes of coloring in your meditative coloring book, listening to music. It can be brushing your cat or your dog, or taking your dog for a walk. The key really in the grounded practices are to really be device-free, away from your screens, and be really attentive to yourself and that inner voice. Yeah, great question, Amy. So I'm just going to take a second to grab a sip of water and let some of the other questions come through. So if you have more questions about the material that I shared tonight or the group course that I outlined, I'd be happy to answer those questions now. You got me on the line. I got just a couple more minutes. Donna. Donna says that she just wants to say that the reason she got on this call tonight was to see if she had come the distance down the healing road that she thought she had, and she believes she's in a good place. The universe is telling me that I have everything I need in order to get everything I want. Oh, thank you, Donna. That's wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that. One last call for questions or comments or feedback. Love hearing from my tribe. You guys push me and you guide me and help me rise to be the best coach that I can be. And I truly love everything that you have to share. All right, my darlings. I am going to take that as a sign that we've done good work here tonight and you've got what you've needed from me. So I would love to express my gratitude for your presence on the line, your attention and your focus to the healing you are moving through, and I honor the big vision of divine love you hold in your heart, and I absolutely see this possible for you. The link to book your free call will be live after we end, so don't miss your chance to connect with me one-to-one to get perspective on your love situation and a plan to guide you forward. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I love you. Bye.